Hi guys, welcome back to Love All Tennis Talk. I know everyone's probably shocked that I have an episode out right now because it's always taken me forever, but I'm really trying to be more consistent so I can bring everyone the current events. I can't bring everyone the latest if I'm only doing an episode every 2 months. And yes, it's just me today. My roommate isn't here, so I couldn't force her to be in an episode with me. And I'm at my apartment, so I don't have my family. But we have a great set of stories today. So without further ado, we're starting with, of course, Bernard Tomic. So Bernard Tomic, I obviously know who he is and would recognize the name and recognize him. He, I guess, was the bad boy of tennis before Nick Kyrgios. I feel like either I was too young or just didn't pay attention to tennis that closely when he was in his heyday of bad boyness. Well, apparently he's still there, but where I guess he was more notorious. So his girlfriend, Vanessa Sierra, she was on Love Island, okay, a former reality TV star, and now she has an OnlyFans, which is, I guess, not shocking. And like everyone else, they were quarantined. She, I guess, has a YouTube channel and she's vlogging or whatever. And she went on this rant about how the hotel room was freezing and cold and the food was horrible. And then the thing that I guess really annoyed people or shocked people was that she literally said, this is the worst part of quarantine. She touches her hair and she's like, I don't wash my own hair. I've never washed my own hair. It's just not something that I do. I normally have hairdressers that do it twice a week for me. So that's the situation we're dealing with. I can't wait to get out of quarantine just so I can get my hair done. So obviously this blew up and everyone had something to say and was just what are you even talking about? On one hand, she's like, I'm vlogging, this is my personal life. Good for her for saying what she feels. Not everyone has to put into perspective exactly what everyone else is going through. She's just talking about her. So that's what upset her, and so she just said it. I don't think that she really needed to receive death threats about it, but she needs to know that that's not normal. How do you not wash your own hair? It's just weird, that fact. And my hair is thick and kind of on the drier side, so I can get away with washing my hair every other night, every 2 nights. But how does she do twice a week? It's does it not get greasy? It's just, I don't think that she, again, deserved death threats or anything. She definitely just shows that she's a little out of touch and a little weird. But he is a whole nother story. He's the worst, honestly. So maybe him and his girlfriend actually do make a great pair. He honestly seems kind of delusional. And not a side story, she has, I guess, become his coach. He says his OnlyFans, Bernard Tomic says his OnlyFans girlfriend, Vanessa Sierra, is now his coach, which I'm assuming he just didn't have a coach before, or at least for a few years. Because I don't know if he seems the most coachable person. When I was researching, he kind of, he obviously has an attitude. His personality just seems the worst. And just all around, I don't know, not great. I'm just going to go on a limb here and say I don't believe that she necessarily has the qualifications to be a professional tennis coach, but he said, it's a secret. I'm not going to give my tips away. If someone asked him, what is she teaching you? And he said, together we've managed to win 8 matches. Quite good. It's a new tactic for 2021. But I feel it's not that uncommon for someone to do really well. I feel when they have a new girlfriend or boyfriend, when you are alone and you literally don't have anyone to answer to but yourself, and you obviously don't care, says he doesn't even like tennis that much. He's probably just doing better because he has a girlfriend. And what do you want to be, the boyfriend that's a loser? No. I feel it's scientifically proven that when someone else is watching you, you just do better than if you are alone by yourself. If he had no coach, he's probably not going to practice as hard on his own or push himself or even care if he loses a match. But if you have someone watching, and especially if you have a new girlfriend, you're going to want to impress them. It actually reminds me of in high school when I went to an all-girls school, and whenever we would go to away matches, and the school was co-ed and had boys and girls, the tennis courts would be there, and maybe there was the boys soccer team next to it, or the football practice or something. Hello, we would put a pep in our step and we would run a little faster and try not to lose because there were just spectators watching, especially if it was guys. These were just random boys. Imagine if I have a boyfriend there, I'd be literally die to win. So that's honestly probably it. I feel it's more of he doesn't want to be the loser boyfriend more than she's actually teaching him skills and whatnot, in coaching in that way. If he loses every match, it's embarrassing for him. Plain and simple. So that's probably their secret. Oh, and also, so I almost forgot, when I was researching him, I came across that he was a contestant on the Australian version of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. And after 3 days, he left and withdrew because he was feeling uncomfortable and depressed. It's like, is that not the point of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here? Like, they put celebrities in uncomfortable situations. So he definitely doesn't seem like the most competitive person. I wish him luck, I guess. And honestly, now I'm paying attention to how he does, because it will be very interesting. Now for the second story. So this story is like a week old, but I obviously had to say something about it. Novak Djokovic clarifies quarantine demands misconstrued in open letter. So when everyone like touched down in Australia, I guess there was a lot of confusion and chaos regarding like the quarantine situation. So I think at first the strategy was everyone's gonna come quarantine for 2 weeks in like hotel rooms. And I guess some people had houses or like apartments. And everyone was gonna have 5 hours a day, literally just to go on the tennis courts. Like I think they had to do all their fitness from day one. Like they knew they were gonna have to do their fitness in the room because they were gonna have 5 hours a day with their teams to play tennis. Like they had some system where like people wouldn't be in contact with just them, like court, whatever. So that was like the plan A. And then everyone got there, and I think it was 3 of the flights were compromised because someone, whether it be like a flight attendant, I think one was like a flight attendant, one was like a random person or random people, I guess when they touched down, like tested positive for COVID. But like I have a question, because even when you fly places, like especially if you're flying into Australia, who's like has one of the strictest quarantines, don't you have to present a negative test at the time of like boarding? So like how does someone board in Canada and then in the span of the flight like test positive? I mean, I don't know if that's the way that it is, but, or maybe you test, because I know like it's weird, like the whole thing is like the symptoms can show later, so you don't even know, and like the test might show negative, but it's building up in your system, so it'll be positive in like a day. I actually really don't know, so I shouldn't like actually speak on it, but that's just what I thought. But it just had that thought. I was like, how do you from one to the anyway? And also, not for nothing, but I feel like there have been false positives. Like I feel like that's a known thing. So I wonder if the people, like one of the people, it was a false positive, but like when they see positive, they have to just act on that. Who knows? But apparently that spun everything into a tailspin, and the players that were on those flights, they had to like take everyone, players and team members, I guess coaches, like agents, whatever, if they're coming. And they all had to be in a super strict quarantine, 14 days. Actually, I think it turned into like 15 for some people, because they started on, I heard Tennis Sandgren was like, they started on day 0, like instead of day 1, where they thought that they were gonna have 5 hours of tennis a day. They could not leave the hotel room like at all. Apparently they couldn't even open the window, which I guess you can't, like the windows don't open in hotels normally. Anyway, so obviously, and we've heard this before, that like, I guess the top however many players have like this group me, and they talk in it. Like, I feel like that it's like not news to know that like a bunch of the players have a group chat. So I think like everyone was kind of shocked that this was happening. Not shocked, but like maybe it didn't seem like it was like expressed to them that would be the plan B if something like that happened. So obviously everyone's going to be kind of upset and confused and just annoyed. So I guess there was a group chat. Everyone was kind of brainstorming ideas like, okay, how can we make this better? Like we're stuck in the hotel room, like better food, actual fitness equipment to be like delivered. So Djokovic, being world number 1, was trying to like spearhead, okay, I'm going to write down all these suggestions, and like as being a top player, he's going to present it to the executives at Tennis Australia to see like what could be done. And apparently this was leaked, this letter. And it had like suggestions like buying and like giving actual fitness equipment, like better gourmet food for the players, like trying to get them out in any way, like more negative testing to see if they could like be out sooner. And I guess the one suggestion that like made everyone go crazy was that he had like said, and maybe if we could get the teams like the players and everything like private homes with tennis courts. And like that's what everyone thought was so outrageous. Everyone was kind of calling Djokovic like this brat, like, oh my god, him and his demands. I don't know how he became the villain of this once again. He literally does anything and it's like, oh my God, he's so ungrateful, he's so spoiled, he's such a brat, he's so out of touch. It's like, not for nothing. Do you guys remember last year when Australia was literally dealing with the most devastating wildfires and bushfires? And the tennis players donated I think it was $500,000, rallied together, raised so much money, raised so much awareness. They had the ace every time they hit an ace, or people donated their entire winnings to all together to the Australian bushfires. So if you can't find them a mansion on Airbnb, that was the most outrageous thing to ask. And these were just suggestions. Everyone's calling it demands. And I also had a good idea. They could have just assigned an intern or someone, or hired people. I would have done it for free if I was over there. Okay, call me an intern, whatever. Assign them to a tennis player. You take everyone's restaurant orders. Everyone's say one person wanted a resistance band, to work out in, but the other person didn't. Another player didn't. So, and this player had weights already, and this player didn't. So just assign one person, and taking care of dietary restrictions of players, and gone to better restaurants or nicer places, whatever, got them all their food, and then you literally had a concierge person or a butler for every tennis player and their team. Because I literally felt all I saw was them hitting tennis balls into the mattresses or the walls, which, not for nothing, is not good for the springs of the mattress and probably not good for the walls, but that's besides the point. Yeah, someone should have put me in charge over there. Just, my 2 cents. Oh, I'm sorry, Novak Djokovic was trying to speak up for the other players and have everything better for everyone. God forbid. Then you have Nick Kyrgios, which brings me to the next story, calls him a tool for, I guess, trying to help. Okay, that makes sense. So the next story, in the least shocking news of this year, is, not going to lie, Nick Kyrgios didn't miss tennis during the COVID-19 affected season. Yeah, we know you hate tennis, and we know you hate everyone except for your select few friends. And he literally said, I don't miss too many people on the tour, to be honest. It's we know, you don't have to say to be honest. You've said this many times before. We know you're not lying. Trust me, we just know that he loves to bash tennis at every chance that he gets. And it's just weird, honestly. I just don't get it. He has said that, he doesn't really like tennis, doesn't really care about it that much. And he would just how he just wants to go to his local cafe, get a nice coffee, play basketball with his friends and play video games. It's yeah, you and everyone else in the world. Do you think everyone wants to get up and do their job? No, we all have to work. And not for nothing, his work, he does get a few months off, and I would rather have to wake up and do something that makes me millions, even if I don't love it, rather than minimum wage and not loving it. So the other thing with Kyrgios is, so he obviously calls Novak a tool or whatever, and has to put his 2 cents in about the whole quarantine suggestion information. And then literally on his Instagram the next day, it's he shows that he visited a children's hospital and was his caption's always stay humble and grateful. It's which one are you? When he's not bashing someone, he's being the nicest person on earth. And it's which one, which personality is you? I guess both. He just seems one of those people that he will ride or die, loves his family, loves his select few friends, and then everyone else he hates or doesn't care about at all. So, and he always is just, and charity he loves. But it's he has his Nick Kyrgios Foundation, which was made possible by his success in tennis. So you would think that he just I don't know, would be appreciative and grateful in any way about the sport of tennis. And also, I think I've mentioned this before, what do his parents think about his attitudes? So he's an adult, obviously, and in a unique position where he has a big platform in the world, so everyone hears his words and pays attention to it. Obviously I'm over here talking about him, so people pay attention to him. But it's are his parents ever maybe try to make it seem we, raised you with manners or something? Because okay, he's an adult, he can do whatever he wants. His parents are probably not telling him what to say, letting him, whatever. But I would be if I was his mom, I would be yeah, love that for us, because it makes us look like we raised you to be legit rude. But whatever. He's never going to change. I feel like people were just waiting for him to grow up, but I think he's 25 now. And actually the male brain, they do say, is not fully developed until age 25. So maybe after this, we'll see some changes, but I'm not holding my breath. I mean, he is fun to talk about. And I can't argue with that. Okay, and the next story, I feel like this is also just like always happening and it's like so devastating. But Andy Murray devastated as he shelves Australian Open plans. This man cannot catch a break. It's been 4 years since he's like been on tour, a consistent like healthy player. He finally is like in physical shape. I think his hips are like better, his hip is better. And like the one thing that is stopping him is he gets corona. He had 10 months to get corona. And he gets it literally as he's about to do, as I guess he's doing the preliminary testing for the Australian Open. He's literally like, "Are you there, God? It's me, Andy. What the hell is going on?" He's literally probably laughing so he doesn't cry, because it's like, seriously, anything that can go wrong has gone wrong with him. I guess he's just, I mean, I think he said that he's gonna play Italy next, so who knows. But like also back to the false positive, false negative. Are we sure that he actually had it, or it was just that's called life's not fair. And I just hope that he gets a reprieve anyway. Hope he gets better, obviously. On to happier news. Maria Sharapova got a $400,000 engagement ring. I feel like that's nothing for her. Like, that's literally a drop in the ocean because she's obviously so rich. So at the end of last year, she announced that she was engaged to, what's his name? Alexander, I don't know how to say this. Gilk Gilks? I feel like he's Greek with the ES, possibly. But or maybe like his ethnicity is Greek, maybe. So he is this super successful British businessman who, it says that he's friends with two of the princesses, Beatrice and Eugenie. I don't know why they say it differently over there, but one of them, whatever her name is. So, like, good for her. Like, that makes sense. I know that she's dated tennis players before, but because she was like so good and like one of the best, I feel like sometimes if you're like so successful in something that you do in like a space, then I feel like your partner, it's better off that you have them like in a totally different world. Him in business or whatever he does. Apparently he's like an art dealer, or it's probably one of the things he does, because like they need to be successful in their own right. And like I feel like for female athletes especially, it's like businessmen, like successful international businessmen is the way to go, because they have their own thing and you have your own thing. It's not like, I know she dated Grigor Dimitrov and it was probably great, like they understand each other's world, like playing tennis and everything, but she was definitely better as a women's player than he was a men's player. She was like the highest paid female athlete for like 10 years, I think. So good for her. You know, I was never her biggest fan, but there's nothing but well wishes from Lawal to you, Maria. Have a great marriage and life. And finally, on to some better news and optimistic. Sofia Kenin, the atmosphere is going to be so loud at the Australian Open and she can't wait. So obviously there's going to be fans at this slam, and I feel like quarantine sucked for like everyone. Like not the 2-week quarantine that the tennis, well obviously that did suck too, but like just these past 10 months or whatever. So since Australia, I mean, since they are so strict, they have it like under control, so they're allowed to have this, so there's going to be fans, and I just feel like it is going to be such an energy booster. Like it's going to be like a shot of adrenaline like in life for tennis players, because I feel like they need this. It's been so weird the past like year. Everything's been off course. US Open was played with no fans whatsoever. Wimbledon was canceled. It was just like weird, obviously. And so being as like normal as possible with fans, with like the noise and the screaming, like I actually think it's going to be really good for everyone. And even if they might not have fans at Wimbledon. Like I don't even know what it's going to be like at the US Open. Hopefully they can have some fans. But I feel like everyone is going to like it. It's really going to boost morale all on tour. And like they deserve it after having this crazy quarantine. And the fans and stuff. Like it'll be interesting to see, to like watch it on TV and see, you know, hear the crowds cheering and stuff. And you know what? I feel like I would would like Sofia if she won it again. Like, I feel like I want her to take it all. Needless to say, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more drama and things to talk about. So hopefully you will tune back in, and I'll be here to bring you the latest and greatest. Thank you, everyone. It was lovely talking tennis with you, and I hope to see you back next time. Make sure to follow Love All Tennis Talk on Instagram and also on TikTok, even though I basically post everything on TikTok onto my Instagram. I would love you to follow both. So yes, bye everyone. Have a great day.